Well, hello and good evening. What's happening here? Christmas approaches, work is busy, horribly busy doing stuff that I really don't like doing. Good and bad news is I was supposed to be doing a Christmas fair on Saturday, Saturday, that's yesterday, but it was cancelled because of the weather. On one hand, this is bad because it's a significant loss of income, and of the opportunity to meet new customers. That's bad. It's quite good not having to do the work associated with preparation for said Christmas fair, Christmas market. And another big disappointment, probably the biggest disappointment of the whole thing, because it is a relief. It's hard work, relief not to have to do it. But the biggest disappointment is that I was going to be spending the day with my stall next to a stall of a friend, and we could have spent time when we weren't working talking. And having someone you know next to you, know and trust next to you, is good because they can cover for you if you need a break or you're busy and they're not, and vice versa, which is a very valuable thing to have at these events, but quite rare. Anyway, that freed me up from a lot of work, but it was a big disappointment in some ways as well. The work here is difficult as ever, in that it's not enjoyable, it's not rewarding. I'm finding it very difficult to work with my wife. And at the end of the day, what do I say? What do I say to her? So I'm silent. She gets upset by that. It's all very difficult, no fun at all. But that's as may be. When I have had free time, generally when my wife is off doing her music things, which is a lot of the time actually, I do try and go and help my friend with her business because she is on her own, very busy time of year for her, more busy than for us. And she's struggling to keep up. And I'm happy to do that because I enjoy spending time with her. Her company is not difficult and challenging most of the time. She does appreciate my help. And I don't really feel I'm taken for granted. Something with my hair. I don't really feel I'm taken for granted. So that's good. Although sometimes time I spend with her is time I should perhaps be spending getting home to work only one day a week, Friday afternoon, and then only if we've got a market on the Saturday. Otherwise, there's no big rush to get home. So that is once a month that I might feel guilty. But anyway, here at home we had yet another showdown. Excuse me, I'll put the light on behind me. Oops, I just feel it's a bit dark for some reason. Did you hear that? Bloody shit moves. Why is it things move and they are never ever put back where they come from? And I know I'm guilty of that, so it's not really a criticism of my other half, who is probably more untidy than I am. So we had another showdown this morning. I say showdown. I'm silent and uncommunicative because I'm not happy. I'm also not happy by this, with this thing here. Something over this fucking shirt hanging over my head, which is bugging me. And can I get rid of that? Yes. As a result. I know I'm difficult because I'm quiet, uncommunicative, unresponsive. And yes, I don't want to do things with my wife because I don't want to sit and watch Korean drama every evening. I don't want to watch the films that she might choose to watch, the DVDs. And I don't want to make her sit through something I don't want to watch, which I know she will not want to watch, and she makes no secret of the fact that she doesn't want to. And I've probably gone through this before. I have to keep a low profile, keep out of the way, and not disturb her when she is doing work relating to her music efforts. And so she's quite rude and basically tells me to piss off, not in so many words. So I can't talk to her and interrupt her when she's doing that. But the moment she has a pause or needs help, I have to be there to listen interminably. And advise, which is tedious. There was an illustration of, of why I find it difficult to ask her questions today, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, contrary to what we had discussed, she decided to bake bread for the Christmas fair we didn't do on Saturday. Some of it. So she chose to bake 30 loaves, which we don't need, and they don't fit in the freezer. She is out this evening doing music, and she had arranged to sell some to the people with whom she does music. And then she told me that some of the people weren't going to be at the choir this evening, so she wouldn't be taking it. And I asked her shortly before she went out, simple question: how many loaves are you taking? And then she started to enumerate the people who weren't going to be there, who had ordered. And the person who she's going to see tomorrow who'd ordered, who is not going to have any. And I had to interrupt her and say, no, can you tell me how many loaves you're selling this evening? And it started again. Well, Linda's stuck in Wales, so she's not going to be there. Elaine is somewhere else, so she's not going to be there. And Margaret was going to have a loaf on Monday, but I can only deliver it if I drive there, so I don't know, so I might give that to someone tonight. Yes, but how many loaves are you taking this evening? Because it makes a difference to space in the freezer for other things. And after asking twice and just getting this long story but no answer, I just lose interest. Which is unkind and unpleasant of me. But this is what happens. And other times, if I show an interest, she will explode because I haven't been listening or I'm not interested. And then she has an explosion this morning and talks about splitting up, and it's all my fault. She is unable or unwilling to accept that for the last 5 years, maybe longer, she has been unavailable. She has been hasn't had time for me. She hasn't listened to anything I say. If I try to say something, she just snaps and doesn't listen, tells me she's busy. And then the alternative is she will turn on me with the aggressive questioning. And it is aggressive. Everything in her body language is aggressive. Questioning of me, of what I'm doing, what I have been doing. And she knows after this time that I really can't respond to that. It's something that I can't cope with. That sounds dramatic, but it's the case. It's right. The problem was with me. It's going back to feeling like a child and being asked what you do at school, what you're going to do, what to do when you grow up. All those questions which I could never answer. I just dried up and didn't answer. And that's the case now. And she knows this, but she still does it. So there she is, eloquently and aggressively spouting on, and I just can't say anything. And I know that anything I say is going to be taken as a criticism of us and her in particular. And yes, perhaps I do want out. I've to a certain extent, living with someone has always been a burden. There's been a time when it's been important to me partly for validation, to let me feel I got a purpose by being here and being available and helping, which isn't really very good. But I don't need that now. Am I saying I don't need her? And does this make me a horrible person? It probably does. But at the same time, I can't say to her, look, I've had enough. I want to get out. Because she's made it quite clear that this is the concept, the idea is very upsetting for her. So I stay being miserable, making her miserable, but probably less miserable than if I were to go, which throws up all sorts of problems. Or would throw up all sorts of problems for me. Quite apart from the guilt of leaving her with a house full of shit, which isn't all hers, and a house which needs so much work doing on it. But it is her house at the end of the day. But there would be a lot of guilt around there. Oh, another thing, she says we never touch. We didn't much anyway. And yes, I admit that I really find touch not particularly desirable or pleasant at the moment. And I look at her and she's a stranger. She's someone I just don't know. But she won't accept that she's changed. I mentioned the fact that she might have changed. She said, well, give me examples. Tell me how, Shay. Tell me exactly when. I can't enumerate that, and there are things that I wouldn't say because she'd just be too upset by them. And she just denies it. Hey, I've gone off a quarter of an hour, which wasn't the plan. This is my one free evening this week. My one free evening, first free evening. Well, I think it's the second one for about 3 months. I don't know what the answer is. Because I do care about her and I don't want to do anything that's going to cause her pain. You might argue that I am already doing things that would cause her pain. Which makes me a shit, doesn't it? Hey, on that cheerful note, I'll finish there.